guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make ribbon roses and how to basically put them together to make a bouquet. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. So the thing we're going to start with first is materials, and the main materials I'm using is one thing of purple, light purple ribbon, and then one thing of pink ribbon. You're going to need a card, some scissors, and like these little wooden dowels or like just wooden sticks or something to wrap your ribbon around. And then you're gonna need a hot glue gun. Mine is plugged up right now, so it's gonna be heating up while I'm showing you how to do the first couple of steps, which is making the parts for the rose out of the ribbon that you're gonna put around the dowels. So personally, I like to cut off this tape part, especially if it's brand new ribbon I just bought. Just gonna cut right across. And then to make the pieces for your roses, you're gonna wrap it around your card like this. And then you're just kind of going to go around the card at least 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then once you have it wrapped around it 10 times, you're just going to cut off this little extra right across there. Okay. Sit right there. And then once you have cut it off, you can hold on to the ribbon and slide the card out of the ribbon. And once you have that out, you can just cut on each side, so that way you can have the petal pieces you need for the rose. And you're going to want to do it to both sides so you can have separate pieces. Now, since I have, 10, should have 10 pieces, hold on. So you should have 10 to 12 pieces here, depending on how many times you wrap them, and you're going to want to do that depending on how many dowels you have. And since I have 4, I'm going to do 2 of each color. So I'm going to wrap this again another 10 times to get another thing of ribbon to use. So in the case that you want to cut off this chopped up part from the first time you did it, you can if you want to, but other than that, you can just keep it and wrap again. Okay. So once you have your 10, I probably miscounted, but yeah, you're supposed to do it 10 times. You can do it more if you want bigger roses, which necessarily I would say it has to be an even number each time. So 10, 20, 30, 60, depending on how big you want them. personally, I don't want these super big because I'm trying to make like a mini bouquet. So slide it off just like the first time. Cut down the sides. To get another stack to use that is pink. Now I'm gonna do my next color and keep letting my glue gun heat up just to make sure I have a fully heated gun when I go to use it. So personally, I bought new yarn for this project because I knew this was supposed to be a gift for somebody. But if you just want to do basic yarn or ribbon that you have, and honestly you don't have to use like wooden dowels, and I'll show you how you can do it if you don't want to put like wooden dowels in your thing. So you're gonna wrap it and count to 10 like normal. You might want to like even it out a little bit with like the end of the card to make sure that it's in the correct place. And then you're gonna start just wrapping again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right, and 10. Okay. Ooh. Shoot. And then you're just gonna cut it across again. Honestly, it's not like super difficult. It's kind of like repetitive once you get the process going of how you're supposed to do it. So like honestly, you could probably skip this whole entire like monologue of me talking. But I guess yeah, this is kind of simple project, and honestly something super easy you can do for like Valentine's Day. And even if you didn't want to like spend a whole bunch of money on this and you kind of like balling on a budget, you could go to Dollar Tree or Dollar General to get the wooden like dowels and wooden pieces, or you can use like pencils. Use wooden pencils though. I don't suggest using plastic pencils. And you can use pencils to make the wooden dowels instead, if you really prefer to do that instead of, you know, doing a whole bunch. Or you could just buy the ribbon and the hot glue if you didn't even want to use wooden dowels, or you want to like tape these to something and, you know, make like a little thing out of them. But I'll show you how to do both ways as soon as I get this second color cut. Now, personally, there's multiple different like ribbon types. So this is like satin ribbon, yeah. And then there's like lace ribbon where it's kind of like see-through, but it has white patterns on it. And really, you can use either or, and you could probably get like a white lace pattern for this if you prefer to do that instead. You can get different types of ribbon to do this. They don't always have to be satin if you really don't like the feel or texture of satin. I know sometimes satin can have like a weird feel in your hands. It's really pretty though. I know personally, I might, next time I do this, I might get some lace satin to also go with these colors. And then I do want to say, unless you want these to be like very small, getting thick yarn like this instead of like super skinny, whoa, I said yarn, hold on, I'm sorry, super super skinny ribbon that is kind of like thinner instead of bulky like that might affect how they look, or might affect if you like burn your hands super easily. So if you were to use like skinnier ribbon, I would suggest probably using fabric glue or something like that instead of hot glue, so you don't burn your hand as much when you're trying to glue the pieces together, since you are going to kind of be pressing down on this when you're going to glue it. But yeah. Okay, so now you have your 2 stacks of colored yarn. Ooh, oh my god, I don't know why I keep saying yarn. I'm so sorry. Once you have your colored ribbon, you're gonna get your dowels, or the thing you're wrapping these around. Now, I will say personally, I broke these down so they were smaller, because I know I wanted them to not be like a super big bouquet. So the original size of them was this big, and I kind of just broke it down the middle and took my grinder that I have and like grinded them down. But you don't have to do that. That's kind of just if you prefer something smaller compared to like a super large bouquet. Okay. So you're gonna need to get your hot glue guns ready. So we're about to start making the roses. I'm probably gonna start with just one stack of these. So you're gonna want to make sure you're on the inside, which is not the side where it's like shiny. You're gonna want to make sure you're on this side, and you're gonna bring it down like that. So it's sitting kind of like that, and you're gonna want to glue it right there in that little corner, and do the same to this side. So your glue gun is ready. You're gonna line it up, kind of bend it down, and then you can like flip the inside up and put just a little bit of glue right there. You don't need a whole bunch for this. A little goes a long way. And you can just push it down. Be careful though, because I did add a little too much. It's coming off the sides though, so just be careful not to burn yourself when you're using hot glue, since hot glue can get super hot super easily. Okay, so now that this side is down in the corner, we're going to do the same to this side so that it's the same on each side. This one's a bit more straighter. It's not really going to affect it though. Just flip it back. Add a little hot glue to there. Just pop it down. Press it down too so it holds its shape. Okay, now that it's like this, you're gonna take the sides and bring them in again, kind of like to cover up the little bit of hot glue you have right there. So it looks like this. You should have a corner like this. And you're gonna put just like a little hot glue in the middle right there. Kind of over where your last dollop of hot glue went, you can just put another right there. Now, in total, depending on how many like flips you did, that's how many petals you're gonna end up having. Now, the way I'm doing it is that you're gonna glue each one on top into like this long string of them, instead of, you know, like bending them back and putting like a little bit of glue right there. We're gonna lay them down and put them together instead of gluing the back and having to do it separate. If you want it to look more like detailed, I would suggest doing that one, but I want to try to keep it simple, quick, and easy in case, you know, like crafting is not something you always do. Just like that. Okay, now you have your first rose done. Well, your first petal for the rose is done. And if it really comes down to it, you want to like cut off the excess that's kind of like spilling out over the side or the back, you can just kind of take your scissors and carefully, you know, snip it off, make it a little bit more even if that's your thing. You just kind of got to be careful about it because you don't want to cut too much off. But that's the first rose, and you're going to want to repeat these steps again for your next one, which I will show you again. So you're going to want to make sure it's not on the side that's like satin. You're going to want to make sure it's on the side where it has no shine. And you're going to want to bend your sides down and make sure it is lined up. Well, it doesn't have to be lined up, but you want to like aim for it being lined up. You're going to want to kind of get it lined up and then add a little bit of hot glue, not too much. Still being careful of your fingers. Now, kinda, if you want to like make these more personalized, besides just like doing their favorite colors, you can get like little, what is it, keychain things that have like whatever their favorite character is attached to them, and kind of like break the keychain or the like metal loop things off the actual character, and then like kind of add them onto this, if that's something you want to do. But I'll probably also show you how to make like a proper ribbon bow if you want to add like a little bow to the bouquet, because a lot of people kind of just do it how you're supposed to tie your shoes, so it'll sometimes look like super wonky. But that's how you get to this part. Then you're gonna lay it back out. Flip the insides in. Ooh, if I can get it to lift up properly. Lord. Get the insides flipped in like so. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can have a little wabi-sabi. No one's gonna judge. Really, it's just about what your intentions were when it comes to, you know, making stuff for your people. Or your intentions for them to like it and, you know, enjoy it and be able to have it sitting around so they can think of you anytime they look at it? Or are you more of like a perfectionist when you do it? Which, even when you are a perfectionist, even if it's not like exactly perfect, that's okay, because it doesn't have to be, as long as you know, really tried to do it and you put your best foot forward. That's all that really matters. But yeah, I'm gonna jump ahead and show you how to glue these together and how you're supposed to glue them together. Alright, so now that all of the pieces are made, which I went ahead and did both colors that I was planning to use. Now, I will say I only did one stack so I could give you an example and kind of make this video a bit shorter and a lot quicker. But now that we have all our pieces, we're gonna start to put them together. So you have your first piece and you're just gonna put a little bit of glue right there, just a little bit. and you're gonna stack the piece just right on top, like that. So you got them together, and then you just keep stacking them up and adding glue to them to get your pieces together. And try to line them up a little bit because you don't want them to be like wonky, which I completely messed this up while trying to tell y'all. Lord. Okay, there we go. This is a little bit more even. But kind of try to keep it even and in line with each other, so when you wrap it up, it kind of maintains the shape of a rose. So right there. And this is kind of something simple and easy you can make at home if you don't want to like go buy pre-made ribbon bouquets, since they are kind of expensive compared to just making it at home and, you know, watching a YouTube video and learning how to do it at home. But just a little bit of glue on the sides. It's hot. Some people like to do, I think, like between 14 to 11. I'm kind of more on the lower end. But even if it's small, I can make more. And you can layer these up depending on if you want smaller roses or bigger roses. But since my dowels are a little bit smaller, I'm kind of just doing smaller roses instead of like super big roses, which a super big rose is kind of cute, but even if you do it, I would suggest like switching between your colors. So this could be like pink, then purple, pink, then purple. So then that way when you wrap it, it kind of has a different color match going on, and it might look a bit better compared to just doing one color and no changes. Oh my god. That's hot. Definitely watch your fingers. You don't want to burn them like I just did. Which even now, I've burned my fingers a lot with using hot glue. So I'm kind of... They don't scar as bad since I've burned them before. But I still wouldn't recommend getting it on your fingers because it hurts. And I don't want you guys going to the hospital. I'm lucky just not realizing, the few subscribers I do have are all my friends and family, so if you are watching this, I am so sorry that you have to listen to me explain how to do this. Oh my god. Okay, so now that they are all put together, you're gonna start at one end, which I'm choosing to start at this end. And you kind of just gotta line your stick up with the first flower. Add a little glue to it so you can have a good shape. Press it into place and kind of... Ooh, this is hot. It's hot, it's hot, it's hot. And you're gonna want to kind of roll the rose onto it, which you might want to pick it up just to make it easier, but you want it to be like a tight roll so you kind of get the start of the center, and you're just gonna add a little hot glue to the side and then start rolling again and give it a nice tight squeeze just to make sure it holds as you're rolling, which you can start seeing the rose building up. But you're just gonna roll it and add hot glue at the same time to get its shape. Now, a little wonkiness is okay. No, in reality, not all flowers are perfect and pretty. You know, you gotta find the beauty in the small things of someone trying or, you know, putting your best into a project. Nobody said it had to be perfect, so I'm proving to you this doesn't have to be perfect by doing my best. Ow, 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 ow. Oh my god, I just burned myself again. Look, I'm just burning myself left and right. Oh my gosh. You're just gonna keep rolling it around the dowel, which you can roll it a good couple of times. Just pull it like that and roll it around. You just keep wrapping. Now, you may want to add a little glue right here. I'm trying to avoid adding like a lot because it might make it clunky. And you know you don't want a clunky flower. Because yeah, it can be pretty, it can be pretty, it can be beautiful. You can wrap it and have it look however you want, but you don't want to make it look super clunky because it might not be super cute. But that's the final roll, and you can add like a little hot glue to the end right here to seal it. Just a little, not too much. Okay, push it to the side. And then you just want to press it a little bit. Make sure it holds itself. And there you go. You got a little flower rose. And then this is the pink one. Honestly, I might take the purple and wrap it around this one so it's a bit bigger. Yeah, I might just do that instead for my bouquet, because I might have, yeah, I'll do separate colors, but basically that's how you connect them together to get your colors together and put them into the flowers together. So just a little bit of glue, press on real nice, and just keep going down the line. But, you know, I did pull this off of camera. Like, I did notice I was pulling my hands out of frame a couple of times, which I'm sorry for that. It's kind of like my natural reaction whenever I'm doing arts and crafts, to bring them, like, closer to my face so I can see what I'm doing, because, like, I don't have my glasses on right now. But, yeah, you know, maybe give me some possible suggestions of other stuff I could do. You know, besides deleting my account. I always hate whenever the, like, hot glue starts stringing, because it's always so hard to get rid of it because more just keeps coming, but gotta keep it trucking. Add some more glue. Right there. Glue. Show some more right here. But if I kind of had to give a recommendation for this, I would say having as many petals as possible is kind of the best choice to make in case you don't like how it turned out the first time, or you want to add more petals to the flower. In this case, since I only did 2 stacks of the petals instead of all 4, I am having to, like, work with what I have. But that's okay, because as long as y'all are able to, like, understand clearly what I'm showing to you, that's the best outcome I can ask for. Ow, ow. Just keep going. like 2 more, and then I can show you again how to add on if you're doing like a separate row of ribbon petals instead of doing like a long continuous line of one color, or you're trying to like layer it up. Okay, and last one. Okay, now that was the final one. I'm gonna show y'all how to glue this onto the flower. So you can kind of find the side you left off on, which is like this side. I can see it because it's like double layered up on there. And you can pick up there, or you can start with it on the other side and going the opposite way. But I'm gonna pick up where I last left off because that's the part where it's like least layered, kind of, in a sense. And press it right there. Give it a little press, make sure it's nice and hard. Okay, now you just start wrapping again. Wrap, wrap, wrap. Gonna start right here. Add a little bit of glue to the side of the rose. Well, that's not a lot, that was a lot. Add some glue and keep wrapping. Do another circle. Stop. Add some glue. Another wrap around. Just keep going. Okay, and that is the last one. So I'm gonna add a little bit of glue right here. Again, I may go a little bit further back so it doesn't leak to the front and create that weird hot glue look. Just press down. Okay, so now it's kind of a layered rose look, and you can repeat the steps I showed you to make more than one. But that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I guess give me some like tips on how I could improve, or what I should make next, or if you literally just have any questions, you can ask down in the comments. Have an amazing day, or afternoon, or night.